This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by T-Mobile. Today on the show, we check out the #1 issues of the brilliant and all-star Western comics.
Hey, we're back to talk about comic books. We've been covering a lot of the new #1s that have been coming out lately. Of course, DC has been flooding the market with their new #1s with the new 52, and we've got another one of those today. But we're going to start with a Marvel venture. Last week we talked about a couple of Marvel comics, one of which being Brian Michael Bendis' reboot of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and I will just say, we did that review before the second issue had come out, and the second issue is even better than the first, in my opinion. We were all raving about it, and the second, if you guys haven't read it yet, second issue is so good, so check that out. But we got another Brian Bendis comic, this time a creator-owned comic, because he and Mark Bagley started Ultimate Spider-Man, 10 years ago now? Has it been that long? They were a famous team. They broke the Stan and Jack's record on Fantastic Four for the longest continuous run of 2 creators on one series with Ultimate Spider-Man. And they have a notoriously great partnership and wanted to create a creator-owned book. So Marvel's creator-owned line is called Icon, and this book is called Brilliant. The first issue came out last week, and we had a chance to read it. The concept is basically Brian Bendis was working on adapting what became the movie 21 that we reviewed a long time ago about the MIT kids trying to break blackjack in Vegas. He was adapting that to a television series, which never came to be, but while he was doing it, he got this idea of, what if kids like that, super smart kids at a college, decided that instead of trying to break blackjack, what they wanted to do was create superpowers. So this is our series. It is the first issue. We get to meet a lot of our cast of characters who are these really smart kids in college, and we are teased with what they can do with their superpowers. Dan, I know you were a Bendis fanatic.
It is real genius meets superpowers.
Yeah. But there's not going to be any capes and cowls. There's not going to be any superhero tropes, I think. It's going to be like, what could this really be like?
It's like the potential that Heroes gave us.
Exactly. Yeah, great job. I mean, great reference.
I'll take the job.
Very, very short review. It's brilliant.
It is. It's right there on the cover.
Yep, that's what it is.
It says what it does.
Do you think there's a
shockingly very silly, stupid? No, I'm just kidding. I loved it. But
I remember you being not a fan of Bagley's art. Is that right? Or
why do you remember that? That's really weird that you said that.
Is it true?
I didn't like the art in this. But,
how do you know that? Nailed it.
But from what? From Ultimate Spider-Man?
Right.
From the newer Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, the Ultimate Spider-Man was originally them.
Was it? Did he do the original that came like the first Ultimate Spider-Man?
And they brought him back to kill Peter Parker.
Right, but not the anime-looking one.
Right. That's the tiny period where he wasn't on the book.
Where Mark Bagley. Oh, I didn't like that art. Oh no, I did. No.
But Brilliant.
Okay, whatever. What did you think about
Brilliant? Anyway, sorry, but it's great. I mean, just the premise is great, and this matches and exceeds that premise. Smartly written, smart ideas, smart ways of using said superpowers, funny, pop culture irreverence that Bendis does so well. I'm in. Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
What do you think? There's only one issue, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get a ton.
It's a thin,
you don't get a
it's a
ton.
thin issue, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Bendis is sort of notorious for long, drawn-out storytelling.
Which I like. I usually like that a lot, and I didn't dislike this, but it didn't grab me. I thought the beginning, the sort of showing of the superpower, I was sort of like, it's sort of interesting, but nothing mind-blowing.
Right.
And then it just became this sort of like,
college tale.
College dorm walk through, and then it ended, and it ended in a cool place.
Really? I didn't really get the reveal that was happening there.
I didn't get it either. Wait, which
I didn't get it. I thought it was. I was
So
so
the
confused.
reveal was we're all smart, and what we did was we figured out how to give ourselves superpowers.
No, I know, but
What was the thing on the roof
Think,
with them?
did they kill the cop?
Yeah, there was like a
Wait, what?
security cop thing with
He's
them on
the guy
roof.
who
And I was like,
comes-
what is that?
Wait,
We're
but-
totally
I'll find out.
spoiling
Yeah.
it.
But say this all again because
The
I don't know
cop
what you're
comes
talking
to
about.
shut down the party, and then we cut to them on the roof,
I didn't
and they're
even-
wiping down his car like they murdered him and removing the stains of his
I
blood.
didn't,
pick
I
up
didn't
on that.
see.
I
I
don't know if that
assumed
happened.
episode 2 I'll
any
know
of
what
that.
that is.
Yeah.
I didn't even
But I
know
think that's
that
a
happened.
flaw. I think that's a flaw of the book.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I literally
I
did not
hear
even
that.
know that happened.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't remember that even happening.
it definitely happened.
So, but anyway, I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't in love with it.
I love the concept, and I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge Bendis fan. I love how he writes. I love his, Mammotian staccato. I love it. But yeah,
I'm gonna
I
have to
have
go read
weird,
it again, 'cause
I
I
have
didn't
weird
read-
problems with the first issue. Like I didn't quite get it. It ends in an odd place, and maybe this will. This is basically the series is going to be a series of mini-series. So maybe it'll feel better read as a trade. I don't know. And it's only going to be bi-monthly, so you can read this first issue and then wait 2 months. But
Interesting.
yeah, I didn't feel mixed about it. I think it has a lot of promise, and I love the concept, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, over in the DC universe, we got a lot of new superhero books last week. I think it was the last week of the New 52. We got Aquaman, we got Flash, we got Hawkman, all these crazy new number ones. But, we've done a lot of superheroes in the last few weeks talking about this, and we'll do a lot more coming up. But, right?
We took them all to dinner first.
Yeah. But, oh God.
okay, cool.
You haven't, once you go superhero.
I know. We all read the boys.
Well, I thought it would be interesting to go a little different. There's All-Star Western #1 came out last week. Having a hard time today. And that is a resurrection of, I'm not using that without a point, but it's a resurrection of an old DC book called All-Star Western that used to be out in the 60s and 70s. And this one is going to focus on, at least initially, is going to focus on Jonah Hex, which I think was a character that maybe had more harm than good done to him by his film version. Alex, tell me what you thought of All-Star Western.
Well, I love the idea that we're seeing the Western town, the old 1880s town of Gotham City.
Right.
That my inherent nerd bone went doing, and I was like, ooh.
And you get the Arkham and you
Dr.
get
Arkham,
Cobblepot, which is the penguin.
Weird that Arkham is his first name though, right? I always
don't
thought it'd
think
be
it
like
was.
it was.
No.
It was Arkham Loftletter or something.
I don't think you're right.
Yeah, it was. 'Cause the whole time I'm like, huh, interesting. Okay, they went with his first name. What an odd choice. I guess
Well,
that was a
either
common
way-
first name back then. Or,
It was a common
but I thought
first name.
but now he can't have any children that take it over and
don't
that are
think you're
like
right.
Sally Arkham or whatever.
We'll go
yeah,
back. We'll
I'm
go
pretty
back.
sure I'm right. Yeah.
We'll go back. We'll go to the videotape.
Yeah.
But so I love that. And the funny thing is, because I've only been exposed to Jonah Hex in the movie and the portions of it I have seen on HBO. And I was really kind of happy that this was going to focus on him, because in those little pieces of it that I saw, I was going, this character has some great stuff.
Yeah.
There's some great sort of lore behind this character. It's different. He's unique. It's not, a capes and cowl guy, even though he kind of has a cape, but it's more of a sort of like a feather duster.
Yeah,
What's it
it's
called?
a
anyway, a duster.
Yeah, it's a Confederate.
Crop
Crop duster. What is it? It's called a duster.
Corn
something.
duster.
It's not a corn duster. This is horrible. There are prostitutes,
What
but
is it
nobody
called?
corn dusts.
The duster. A dust.
It's just
duster.
a dust. We're gonna go with duster.
Dust
Anyway,
buster.
long story short, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not. It's a little light. You know
Really?
what I mean?
I thought it was pretty dense.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of thought it was a little.
I mean, we start this mystery. It's sort of a Jack the Ripper type deal going on in
Yeah.
the 1880s.
That does sound dense. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed it.
Jimmy Palmiotti, Justin West are the
I
co-writers.
love the art here.
Yeah, and the
Love
artist
the
is
art.
it begins with an M. Mike's putting it up. It's one name, and I'll never.
Mike?
I can't pronounce it, so I don't know.
And I believe Jimmy Palmiotti did a lot of work on Punisher, right? That's how I know. him growing
yes,
up.
yeah.
Growing up, it was Jimmy Palmiotti.
I think he's written Jonah Hex before too.
Did Garth Ennis do run on Jonah Hex? I think. See, I tried reading
That's
that.
the bloody gory run.
Yeah,
as is his wont.
I remember trying to get into Jonah Hex back in the day because Garth Ennis wrote it, and I never fell in love with it. But this was an interesting take, him sort of as Sherlock, as a detective. as opposed
Yeah.
to
Well,
like
he's kind of
he's still a badass.
He
but like,
investigates with his fists.
right.
Gets answers.
But it's cool, and I love. Was the premise of All-Star and Western? Was it always Gotham in the 1800s, or what?
I don't think so. I
And it
never
wasn't
read it in the
Jonah Hex
60s
either,
and 70s,
right?
but I think it was an anthology series about like Buffalo Bill and Wild Bill Hickok and all those
Interesting.
guys.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. I dig it. You know, it was cool. The end once again felt suspenseful, yet I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to be in suspense about. Similar to the end of Brilliant, but I dug it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It made me appreciate Jonah Hex in a way that I hadn't in earlier iterations. So
I agree. I love the art. And there's so many awesome. There's like fight scenes throughout, and they're all really coolly choreographed. And there's an awesome splash page where he's like kicking 12 dudes and holding one guy on a bar and stuffing another dude's face in a chamber pot, which is like it's cool. And I don't love the character of Jonah Hex. I don't love the like I'm dumb and I only deal with people in one way. But there's a really cool moment where we meet a prostitute that he kind of has a relationship with, and then something happens to her that you don't think they're gonna go there. It's really a cool book, and it's not something I expected to be excited about. As Dan knows, I've always been a huge fan of Westerns. But you know, and I didn't think I was gonna love this, but I really like it a lot, and it felt dense to me. It felt like we're reading a mystery story, and you know the guy writes in a very 1880s way, not meaning the writer of the book, but the character through whom we see this tale told. Because it's not told from Jonah Hex's perspective, it's told watching Jonah Hex and analyzing it, which I thought was a really cool hook.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, two really interesting books, and I think this is really one of the most exciting times in comics ever. If you have ever thought about reading them, this is the time to jump on board.
Oh, yeah.
So.
it feels like when Image first came out and we had Spawn.
Yeah.
And everyone got
Youngblood,
Spawn number
Savage
one.
Dragon.
And my favorite Shadowhawk. I was the only guy. But
I have a signed issue number one
It feels
by
like
Jim Valentino.
It feels like Wildcats and Image.
Yeah.
You know, like it feels like Wildstorm. So yeah, awesome. Which is my childhood.
Except not terrible.
They were awesome. They had awesome art.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around for this day in rad history. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, T-Mobile. Bam!
Whoa, what is
Yes.
that?
Wow.
Oh, it's the future of the world in my
awesome.
pocket. For only $19.99 a month, you can get the 4G mobile hotspot and connect up to 5 devices, iPads, iPod Touches, cameras, laptops, portable gaming devices, and more.
To that?
To America's largest 4G network. Boom!
It's so tiny and cool looking.
I know, what? Create the ultimate portable personal network without the fear of overages. No overages.
Scared of overages.
Bam! 4G capable for blazing fast speeds on America's largest 4G network. Thank you, T-Mobile. Check them out, and thank you for watching. Yeah.
Hey, don't forget to send in your backgrounds, fans at TotallyRadShow.com.
Don't miss tomorrow's show when we review the creepy new series, American Horror Story.
Today is October 4th, and on this day in rad history, in 2004, not too long ago, to some, to others, very long time ago, if you're 4, Spaceship wins, actually if you're 4, it was before you were born. Anyway, Spaceship 1 wins
You're
the
4.
Ansari
Turn off the
X
computer.
Prize. First private craft to go into space.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So,
That's a big deal.
what
That
does
was
that
submitted
mean?
by at Alex Albrecht.
Yeah.
That's
You mean Alexandra?
No, the X Prize was a big was the competition.
I remember this.
Yeah, it was like a $10 million competition.
Did you guys
$12
cover this on the
million competition.
screensavers?
We did cover this.
I
on the
remember this from
screensavers.
watching the screensavers.
Now that we are we're out of the space business in this country, it's really private space travel that's going to be the thing that brings Americans into space. That's
Yeah.
all we have to look
Yep.
forward to.
Man, this is crazy. In October, I moved in September 2004, watching the screensavers. And
Damn.
Alex Albrecht covering this on the show. Crazy. Rad history, my friends.
And you are only 4.